Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 5 of distance learning. So, for this week, we're going to be taking a closer look at the transatlantic slave trade. First thing you're going to want to do is look at our checklist for the week, and you'll see that you will need to complete the worksheet for transatlantic slave trade, and you also have a quiz this week that you will be doing on Thursday or Friday. Also, instead of having separate extensions this week, they have been put directly into our lessons. At the end of each day, there are some optional extensions that tie into the learning from that day that you can choose to look at if you want to learn more about the topic. Okay. If you still have not done last week's assessment, the Columbus Day Summarizer, Um, please get that in by May 24th. And as always, we have our pacing guide here for you. On Wednesday, we will be playing a Kahoot to get you ready for the quiz. And then the quiz will be posted to Google Classroom on Thursday. So you can take it Thursday through Sunday as long as you're done by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, so for this week's lesson, we have our slideshow that you will use to navigate through your lesson guide here. As always, you have your mastery objective, which for this week is you will be able to describe the process by which enslaved Africans were brought to the New World. Okay, you can click here for a copy of this week's lesson guide, or you can use the one attached to Google Classroom, and you can click these symbols in order to have the slide read out loud to you. The daily pacing guide. So today you are watching this screencast that you're currently listening to. You will take a look at the mastery objective. We're looking at this pacing guide now. You'll do the activator for the week, and there will be an optional video for you to do. And remember, everything is due by Sunday, May 24th. So for today on your activator, okay, you're going to take a look at these pictures and you're going to explain how you think this place, which was called the House of Slaves, and then this door right there called the Door of No Return, how do you think they got their names? And you're going to put down your ideas here. Please make sure that you're using complete sentences. Okay, and that is it for day 1. Okay, there's this optional activity here. Why did Europeans enslave Africans? It's a really interesting video, and I strongly encourage that you watch it. And as you watch it, try to think about why were slaves viewed as necessary for the New World, and approximately how many Africans were transported from Africa to the New World during this time period. So just keep that in mind. It will help you on the quiz. Day 2, you're going to watch a video about the island of Gorée, and you're going to complete the questions on your lesson guide. And again, there's an optional video. So you'll click here, you'll watch this video. If you need subtitles in another language, you can always watch it in YouTube and change it there. Okay. And you'll see here that there are questions for you to answer with sentence starters for you already embedded. Okay. All right. And then this video at the end of day 2 talks about President Obama's visit to the island of Gorée and kind of the history of the place, and the fact that it is slightly controversial now, with historians disagreeing on what its purpose actually was. Day 3, which is Wednesday, you will be looking at a thing link, and you'll be evaluating the slave trade. You'll only be doing part 1, which are the black dots on the thing link. So when you open the thing link, it's going to look like this. You're focusing on the black dots. Now remember, I'm going to open this up for you real quick. The thing link can look a little confusing at first, but remember that you're going to click on stuff to get to the actual information. So this particular thing shows a 3D reproduction of what a slave ship looked like back in the day. So you'll watch this video. Okay. Then there's also this other video that's animated. There's a reading about this West African man who was kidnapped and sold to European traders, and his story is fascinating. So there's 5 resources here for you to look at. And as you look at these resources, you're going to be answering these questions. Okay, and again, there are sentence starters here for you in case you don't know how to get started on answering the question. And that is it for Wednesday. Okay, there is another video here for you to watch as an optional extension. It goes through the data. It shows you kind of how over time the number of enslaved people grew. And how many ships went over time. And it's really interesting just to kind of look at the actual numbers of people that were involved with this. And I'm sorry, Wednesday, please do come to office hours because we are going to be playing a Kahoot game that is very close to the quiz that you'll be taking this week. And so you will have an edge on that if you attend this week's office hours. So please make sure you're coming to that. I'm sorry, the live check-in on Wednesday. Thursday, you're going to be looking at the blue dots on the Thing Link map. So you'll be looking at these blue dots here. And again, on your guide, there are questions for you to answer based on the information within the Thing Link. And that is it for day 4, Thursday. And then day 4, there's a think about, and it shows you a diagram of the slave ship and kind of what that actually looked like in terms of how many people they were cramming into these very small spaces. Day 5, or Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, this is where you could take the formative assessment online. I would suggest strongly that you make sure you have completed these blue dots, both the black and the blue dots, before taking the quiz, or you will be putting yourself in a disadvantage because you won't have all the information. So it's going to be a Google quiz. It's called the Transatlantic Slave Trade Quiz. You will only be able to take it once. When you are finished, it will show you the ones you got wrong. You will have an opportunity for reassessment, but it will be a slightly different quiz, and you will have to request the reassessment from your teacher. So if you will get your score right away, if you're not happy with your score, email your teacher, and they will set up a day for when they will be releasing the reassessment quiz to students who've asked for it. So just make sure you get in touch with your teacher if you're unhappy with your quiz score. So that is this week. Please note that this is the first part in a 2-part lesson sequence. Next week, we will also be talking about the transatlantic slave trade and more of the effects on Africa and how the slave trade really led to the situation that Africa finds itself in today. The colonialism, the post-colonialism period, the warfare that occurred when colonial powers left. So we're going to be taking a closer look at the effects of the people who were still in Africa during this time. As always, if you have questions, please reach out to your social studies teacher and they will be happy to help you. Also, please remember that we have a live check-in Wednesdays and Fridays. Please make sure you come to those. And that's it for this week. I hope you guys have a great week.